and so you're back. I'm just gonna double check. Yeah. Yeah, wow. Just make sure that this is centered. Okay, so you watched the or maybe you didn't watch the channel description and you're still here. But so if you didn't watch the channel description, wow, you're in for a treat. Okay, so I said I did promise I was going to script these things, and you can tell from the title what I'm going to talk about, but my scripting has not gone very well, so I just decided to go off the bat. But there's actually just a couple of things I wanted to cover, even though I said this was not going to be a channel about technical details, and if you need explanations about INTP or about any MBTI type or typology itself or socionics or Enneagram or any of the deep theory stuff, there are numerous people here on YouTube that can explain that so much better than I can. There were some really clever sound people, and I couldn't replicate it in any way halfway decent that they do. So I'm going to put some links in the description, and if that's what you're interested in. But you're probably here because you've already heard of INTPs. You may be an INTP yourself, or you're in a relationship one. And INTP just stands for the Myers Briggs type of an introverted intuitive who's thinking and perceiving. So the cognitive stack is TINESIFE. And and again, if that doesn't mean anything to you, just check out a link from the description and I'll take it through. So I guess I'll just say why because it's kind of an awkward topic, and perhaps I should put it as a topic on its own. How exactly I did get involved in MBTI, why I continue to be involved in MBTI, what do I really think about it, and but one of the clearest things is I like it as a system. I like it as a hobby. It's a fun system. It has actually helped me immeasurably, but I have been through stages where I think it did a little bit more harm than good at certain points, and I'll go into that in depth. But I originally took the test a good few years ago when I started college, when I went back to college as a mature student, and I was doing psychology. And I actually think I even took the test before I went back to college, and I think I came out with INTP. I think at some stage, because I can't really remember that well, I think at some stage I may have come out with INTJ, which is really weird, as you know, not from just an MBTI perspective, but from a cognitive function perspective. But I could have at some stage come out with INTJ, but mainly it's been INTP all the time. As I say, INTP all the way down. And I think it's really because I went into it when I was a bit older, and I'm going to say a lot because I'm just not used to talking on camera yet. But when I was a bit older, and I had a lot of experiences, so I had lived a very, very full and complete life by the time I went back into college. And in saying that, I think I had more sense of who I was. So I don't want to imply that if you're young, if you're young, then you can't have a full life experience. I think it's just mainly the amount of stuff that can happen, or the amount of stuff that you can pack into a relatively short amount of time. I think will determine just how aware you are of your own personality, of your own preferences anyway. I think you have to go through certain events that will test you, that will, you know, it's like saying, if you travel, it'll broaden your mind. And I think that's mainly because you're putting yourself into new situations. You're testing yourself in new ways that you never, and you do end up getting an idea, more and more an idea of how other people work, but especially about how you work yourself. So I guess that for me was, I guess I was a bit more, yeah, that's how I am. But even so, even to the stage now, after I've been researching and toying around with personality theory now for years, for about 4 or 5 years, even still, you know, you do get the occasional, what if I'm not an INTP kind of thought, you know. And it does, it like, and that's again something that you should, if you do have that, that's a good thing. And what also is a good thing is just to keep the whole thing in perspective. Remember, INTP and MBTI, typology, they're all part of your toolkit that you'll use every day. They're not everything that you are and everything that everybody else is, and then you can't think of anything else, and you can't take anything else into account. Because that's a way, it's easy to go down that rabbit hole of just trying to make this tool or this system everything that you do in your life. Excuse me.